Home with the experts at Rose Hill Gardens, proudly celebrating our 111th anniversary. From stunning landscape designs and installation, big or small, to custom irrigation, lighting, and maintenance. We do it all. Our 12 in-house designers specialize in creating one-of-a-kind outdoor spaces with hardscapes, outdoor living areas, and plants and trees grown right on our farm. Let us help you build your personal paradise. Visit rosehillgardens.com where beauty takes root. Rose Hill Gardens, 111 years of growing with you.
Summer's here and it's time to soak up the good life. Pro-Built Pool and Patio in Riverside has everything you need for ultimate backyard bliss. Imagine unwinding in a luxurious cow spa, stylish garden leisure hot tub, or a powerful QCA hot tub. But Pro-Built is more than just hot tubs. Dive into fitness with their incredible swim spas. And for the ultimate cool down and recovery, explore their invigorating cold plunges. Visit Pro-Built Pool and Patio today at 4708 Northwest Gateway Avenue in Riverside, Missouri. Your oasis awaits.
1 minute, gentlemen, 1 minute.
At Union Station, the exhibit dives into the science behind incredible record-breaking feats, from the biggest spectacles to the smallest wonders anywhere. The science of Guinness World Records goes behind the scenes with the stories and secrets of those who made history, and guests will have the chance to try it themselves with over 70 interactive displays challenging friends, family, and other visitors. The science of Guinness World Records is here for a limited time. Buy your tickets at unionstation.org. Presented by Thrivent.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, feature the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. We got a good show today, Kirk.
Belated happy 4th of July to you, even though it's the 5th of July. So, how did you celebrate the 4th of July?
You know, I just went to bed.
I watched races last night. I stayed at the home port because there's so many races going on at one time that I needed to monitor everything at once so I could be prepared to talk about it here this morning. So I stayed in the house where it was cool and watched a bunch of races last night, and it was an entertaining night, I will say. A lot of different things to talk about here this morning, but that's how I celebrated my 4th of July. How about you, Todd?
Yeah, I didn't do much. I pulled weeds yesterday.
Oh, man, that's working. You're not supposed to work on the 4th of July.
So that was my day. I was pulling weeds and, I don't know, household stuff. That's how I got out there before it got too hot and pulled some weeds. Kid blew up some fireworks. And
I need to pull some weeds in my driveway.
Yeah, it's like you said, that's a never-ending thing. We're going to have a little barbecue today if it doesn't start raining, so hopefully, fingers crossed.
I'm going to my daughter's farm today.
There you go.
I'm going to Central Missouri Speedway tonight to watch the Tom Wilson Memorial. That's
awesome.
Where I'm
That'll
headed.
be a good race.
Yeah, so pretty good action down there at Warrensburg last night. A couple of cars got upside down, one of which was Chad Lyle in his modified. Chad's not a younger guy. He's a veteran. He's a shall we call him a grizzled veteran, but he rolled his car last night in the heat race. I'm glad he's okay. But another guy got upside down.
He got upside down on his own, didn't he?
We got up into the loose stuff down there entering turn number 3 and got the car. When the car got sideways on him, then it hit the loose stuff up on top and over it went. But glad Chad's okay. Another guy got upside down in the feature last night. Mark Smith rolled it off the third turn last night. He is okay, but the man that was able to celebrate when it was all said and done is Shadron Turner, who wins the Heartland Modified Tour preliminary race last night. Pretty good battle between he and Bobby Williams in that feature event last night. That was some pretty good action down there at Central Missouri Speedway, so I'm looking forward to getting down there tonight and checking it out. Good car count, 32 A Modifieds, and the first time, Scott, that the Mighty Modifieds have raced at Central Missouri Speedway in 4 years. You know, the home of the Mighty Modifieds, they hadn't had A-Mods on the track in 4 years, but last night had a good car count, and I'm looking forward to heading back down there tonight and checking out the finale of the Tom Wilson Memorial Race. I hope there's another Tom Wilson Memorial in the future. You know, the Walls announced here a few weeks back that this is their last year. The track is up for sale. I'm hoping that somebody keeps that track going. We need Central Missouri Speedway, so I'm hoping this is not one of my final visits to Central Missouri Speedway tonight. But the racetrack was in great shape last night, and looking forward to seeing how things go tonight down at CMS.
Danny Dietrich picked up the win last night at Williams Grove.
That's probably the biggest story of the night. $20,000 Danny Dietrich pulled in for winning the night 8. They haven't got all 8 nights of Pennsylvania Speed Weekend, but he wins the third to the final night of PA's Speed Week. He still trails Anthony Macri in the points battle right now with 2 nights to go. But Danny Dietrich had it going on last night at Williams Grove Speedway. They had to have a fuel stop with 5 laps to go. This is the second time this has happened this week, a fuel stop, because these guys didn't have enough fuel in their cars.
I know that bothers you a little bit.
It does me. You know, if you're going to run 30 laps on these big half-mile racetracks, then make sure these got enough fuel in the cars. And if it means running a bigger tank, I know a lot of these guys are running smaller than 30-gallon fuel tanks on these cars. But if you're going to schedule a 30-lap race on a half-mile racetrack, make sure that you got enough fuel in these cars to go the distance. That's what I think.
Just make sure you got a big enough tank.
Yeah, well, I'd tell these guys, we're not stopping for fuel, so you guys figure it out. If you need to put a bigger fuel tank on these cars, then you need to do it. But we're not stopping for fuel. That's what you tell them. And they'll put a bigger fuel tank on the car. The reason why they don't want to run the bigger fuel tanks is weight. They don't want the extra weight. Now, I thought it was interesting on Wednesday night when they had a similar stop for fuel towards the end of that race that Kyle Larson mentioned in the front straightaway interview that maybe these guys ought to run a 33-gallon fuel tank. We had enough fuel in our car.
Hey, Kyle Larson spun out on his own, didn't he?
That was a weird spin out. Early about 13 laps to go in that race at Port Royal. He was coming through turn 2 and then just inexplicably just looped it. It was almost like, I'm not saying that he did it on purpose, because why would you spin out on purpose when you're running second? But that was a weird spin out. The track apparently was slick, and it just got away from him. The great Kyle Larson spinning while running second, but he did rally back to a second place, but he couldn't chase down Anthony Macri, who beat him on the original opening lap start. So Macri just had, he had a faster race car, but he wasn't so fast when the 39 was running out of fuel, though, was he? And then he had to spin to avoid a wreck. They gave him his spot back, which I have no problem with that, because he avoided to, he spun to avoid hitting the cars that spun out. But he did run out of fuel right there, and right then 2 cars stopped on the racetrack, which brought out the yellow, and then they said, okay, we're having an open red now. Everybody can fuel up, and Macri was able to restart out in front and speed on from there. That was on Wednesday night And then last night, 5 laps to go, they had a fuel stop, and Danny Dietrich was able to move on from there and win the feature. Oh, by the way, Dietrich was one of the guys that first ran out of fuel on Wednesday night at Port Royal after charging up through the field.
Did you think Anthony Macri had a chance?
Last night, no. I think, Brent Marks looked like he was just going to run away and hide. He led the first 19 laps of that race. And then Macri was able to
get
move
by
down
Marks
to the inside. Macri had the faster race. Dietrich had the faster race car last night, I thought. When Dietrich passed Brent Marks with 10 laps to go, I thought the 48 car was just faster. And I don't think Macri had enough to chase him down at the end. But that's just my opinion. Good run for Troy Wagaman Jr. He ends up in 3rd place last night. Lance DeWeese 4th and Ryan Smith 5th. Good run for Ashton Torgerson in the Allen 1A car. He ends up in 7th place last night. Logan Schuart, having the week off from the Outlaw Tour, showed up at Williams Grove last night, came from 13th to 8th. Lucas Wolf and Chase Dietz rounds out the top 10. So tonight, they're back at Port Royal, and then they end up Sunday night at Path Valley. If you look at the PA Speed Week point standings right now, Macri has about a 23-point lead over Danny Dietrich right now for the championship. Macri has won 2 straight PA Speed Week titles, going for his 3rd straight tonight. I'm thinking he'll probably end up. He's always so good at Port Royal that I got to figure that Macri's going to hang on for his 3rd straight PA Speed Week championship. What do you think?
Marie says that they raised the purse to $20,000 at Port Royal
for tonight.
Yep,
and they paid $20,000 last night, so big money on the line, and all eyes on the PA Posse because the national tours are off this weekend. Both the Outlaws and the High Limit Series off this weekend. Big weekend. We just finished up 2 days of racing at the Belleville High Banks for the ASCS National Tour. Sam Hafer-Teep Jr. sweeps the weekend. And he had different engines in different nights. He had his best engine in Friday night, and he just dominated. Last night, they had to put a different motor, an older engine with more nights on it in the car, and Sam was worried about it. He was worried that that engine was going to make it. Even after the race last night, he thought it was kind of sputtering just a little bit, but it was enough to hold off Jason Martin and pick up his 2nd straight win on the Belleville High Banks last night. I thought Friday night's race was better than last night. Apparently they got some rain out there. I thought I heard Randy Ward saying that they got a little rain out there. But it changed the racetrack. It was not as slick last night as it was on Friday. Friday night was crazy good. That was a crazy good racetrack. That they had to maneuver through the lap traffic to get to the end, and Sam Hafer-Teep was able to hold off Jason Martin at the end on Friday night. Last night, not quite as good a racetrack, but still good enough for Sam to get the win over Cameron Martin, who had posted his 2nd straight podium finish. Cameron Martin out of Iowa. He'll be up in Knoxville tonight racing with the 360s, but he ended up 3rd on Friday, 2nd last night. So good run for him. Jason Martin was 3rd last night after a 2nd place run on Friday night. So pretty good action at Belleville. Good crowd.
I want
to give at Belleville.
I want to give a shout out to Matt Covington, who ended up running 4th.
Yeah, it was pretty decent. He ran. He ran 4th on. Was that Friday night? 5th last night. So yeah, pretty solid effort for Matt Covington for both those nights. But I hope they come back to Belleville. That was a pretty good show this Thursday night and last night at the Belleville.
The only problem is that Sam stinks up the show.
Well, he did. He did on last night. He did. Thursday night, not so much. He had to really work for that one. We got some late model news to talk about. Dirt late model action in both the Lucas Oil Late Model Series and the World of Outlaw Series. World of Outlaw late models are up at Deer Creek Speedway in Minnesota for the Gopher 50 this weekend. Did you see last night's slide job that Nick Hoffman pulled? That created a lot of damage, Scott. He tried to pull a slider on Tyler Bruning that didn't work out so good. It worked out for him because he ended up winning the race, but not so good for later Tyler Bruning and several other guys, including Bobby Pierce, who flipped his car during that wreck. And Tim McCready got caught up, and several others in that incident. And Nick Hoffman was not really celebrating like you would normally see a guy after a win last night. He knew that what he caused early in the race changed the whole complexion of it. He didn't really celebrate all that much, knowing that, hey, I caused that big wreck down there, but he still won. So, Nick Hoffman's winner.
Were you a little surprised by Blake Hahn's performance?
At Belleville?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Blake's really good on the smaller racetracks. But Batesville, Arkansas, where he won, isn't that a half-mile racetrack?
It is.
He won down there, so you really this Belleville is such a unique track that the engine is the big thing. And
you got to hold it
racing
wide open all the way around.
You're putting a lot of stress on not just the engine, but all facets of the race car. So
right.
I have no problem with what Blake did. He still walked out of there with a pretty good finish, top 10 finishes both nights, and. If anybody was not walking out of there, with, their equipment still left intact, that's the big thing you want to try to take a look at. We just want to try to get out of Belleville with our equipment intact. So I got no problem with the way Blake posted a couple of pretty solid 10-place finishes last night and walked out of there and ready for another day. So, it's okay if you didn't really go up there and challenge for the victory at Belleville Highbacks. That's kind of the way
he started 14th and he ended up running 9th, and he started 11th and ended up running 8th.
Yeah, I mean, if you walk out of there with a couple of top 10s and you're in the points battle, you're thinking, I've got out of Belleville alive and I've still got my equipment intact and let's go for a new day. So I think maybe I'm not saying that that's the way Blake looked at it because we haven't talked to him, but I'm thinking that, we're okay. We got a couple of top 10s at Belleville, and, we're ready for Lakeside Speedway, which he's very good at, and I expect Blake Hahn to be a factor at Lakeside Speedway coming up.
So this
Friday
weekend's
night.
Lakeside Speedway.
81 Speedway on Saturday night, another racetrack Blake Hahn is good at. So, yeah, I thought it was good racing and always good crowds at Belleville. So, anyway, congratulations to Sam Haferteep Jr., who sweeps the weekend in the Lucas Oil ASCS Series. The other late model event, talking about Nick Hoffman winning at Deer Creek last night, Brandon Shepard finally gets a win in the Lucas Oil Late Model Series for the Rocket Racing. He's back in the Rocket car, number 1. But he hadn't won a Lucas Oil late model race this year until last night at Atomic Speedway. And Brandon Shepard talking about some of the experimenting that he was doing with his own race car during some of these Summer Nationals events. A lot of those races are at tracks he's very familiar with. And Brandon Shepard said he's been doing a lot of experimenting on his own race car, that he's taken some of these ideas to Mark Richards in the setup of the Rocket 1 car. And a lot of that has started to pay off. And last night, Brandon Shepard looked as good as he has all season long by winning at Atomic Speedway last night. So I would say that the Rocket number 1 car with Brandon Shepard behind the wheel has now all of a sudden become a factor in the Lucas Oil Late Model Series as he picks up a big win at Atomic Speedway last night.
David Gravel announced that he's going to have a baby girl.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, congratulations to the Gravels.
Hey, Kelly also wondered where Seth Bergman was at last night.
Good question. Maybe he didn't want to run. Maybe he doesn't want to run Belleville. I don't know. What do you think?
Maybe
you
so.
think Seth Bergman might? I don't know. We haven't talked to Seth. But do you think that maybe, he's got that championship from last year.
Right.
He's won the championship that he's thinking, maybe you don't want to take my stuff to Belleville. I'm just thinking out loud. What do you think?
Well, I would say that you put a lot of stress on your equipment.
Yeah. I don't know that. But if you're wanting to win your second straight championship in the ASCS, missing any race is probably not a good thing. But if we look at the point standings right now, Scott, in the ASCS, you have Sam Haferteeth leading Blake Hahn. Covington is third. Jason Martin fourth. Brady Baker fifth. Kyler Johnson, Zach Blurton, Austin Gossel, Garrett Benson, and Landon Britt. Did you hear me say the name Seth Bergman in the top 10?
He's not.
He's not running for the championship.
He's currently 14th in the points.
So if you're 14th in points, why would you show up at Belleville?
Right.
I'm just thinking. You know Seth Bergman pretty well.
Right.
So I'm guessing that maybe he might be back on the road this weekend at Lakeside and 81 Speedway? Maybe. We'll just have to wait and see who shows up at Lakeside and 81 this weekend. So anyway, get back to the late models. Congratulations to Brandon Shepard. A little bit of shakeup in the points battle last night in the Lucas Oil Late Model Series, Scott. We got a new leader. Jonathan Davenport has taken over the points lead. Why? Because Ricky Thornton Jr. fell out of the race with mechanical problems. They only had 11 cars finish that race at Atomic Speedway last night because the track was, shall we say, cowboy up. It was a rough racetrack at Atomic Speedway. Got a lot of rain out in Ohio and Indiana and different places like that. So rough racetrack. 11 cars finished the race. Ricky Thornton Jr. drops out. Jonathan Davenport ends up in third place last night and is the new points leader in the Lucas Oil Late Model Series. The top four is what we're paying attention to. Davenport, RTJ drops to second, Devin Moran third, and Hudson O'Neal fourth. Those are your top four in the point standings. Top 10 finishers last night at Atomic. Brandon Shepard, Josh Rice, also in a rocket car, finishes second. Davenport third. Dalton Wilson, Donald McIntosh, Hudson O'Neal, who had to rally back from trouble early in the race, ends up sixth. Former modified USMTS ace Dan Ebert with a great finish. Started seventh, ends up seventh. Daniel Hilseback eighth. Mike Marlar ninth and Clay Harris 10th. Tonight they'll be at Muskegon Speedway in the Dirt Late Models. Hey, we can't go to break without talking probably the biggest race of the week, Scott. BC 39. Cannon McIntosh goes back-to-back in the BC 39 in what was a wild race at the dirt track in Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Wednesday night. What do you think of that? Cannon McIntosh coming from 19th to win that race. He had to run the B main. And coming from 19th to win, but that was after Justin Grant had damage to his race car after fighting the battle for the lead. Grant was trying to go back-to-back for the week after winning the preliminary race on Tuesday night. Justin Grant trying to become the first repeat winner. Well, that ended up being Cannon McIntosh, the first repeat winner of the BC 39. So what do you think of Cannon McIntosh winning another BC 39?
Well, I think that's great for him.
Yeah. We're going to try to get Cannon on the show here, try to reach out to him. Hopefully we can get him on Monday. It's mostly a motorsports show. We'll see if we can. They're going to be at Sweet Springs on Tuesday night we're going to head down there to watch. That's about an hour east of Kansas City, right off I-70. So what do you think? You want to go to Sweet Springs on Tuesday night, watch the Midgets?
Maybe.
They're going to be at Beloit, Kansas on Wednesday night, and then at Fairbury, Nebraska next weekend, the USAC Midgets. They had USAC sprint cars last night. Scott, Logan Seavey finally got a win in the USAC sprint cars. He hadn't had that great of a season. You know, the defending USAC National Championship driver, Logan Seavey, picks up a win at Putnamville, Indiana last night. So congratulations to Logan Seavey, who's been really struggling this year, coming through with a big win last night at Lincoln Park Speedway.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Midwest Lightning Sprints.
We're going to hear from Tanner Thorson, who really making a big name for himself in the High Limit Series. Is still yet to pick out that win, but he had a couple of pretty solid finishes down at Lucas Oil Speedway last
I was going to
weekend.
say that, Kirk.
That's right. So what do you think of Tanner Thorson, what he's been doing?
I've been thinking he's on a roll.
Well, I think maybe that might not be the right. Don't you have to win to be on a roll?
Right.
He just he's become a factor, a relevant factor in the High Limit Series. We'll put it that way. So we had a good conversation with Tanner Thorson earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports.
All right, we're going to take a break. Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Midwest Lightning Sprints. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Track Talk.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different
3.5 minutes, gentlemen. 3.5.
your products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply is an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
This July, Greenlight is celebrating freedom, your freedom to choose the best. From State Line to Ward Parkway, all 5 Kansas City Greenlight locations are serving up freedom and flower deals all month long. Whether you're stocking up for backyard barbecues, lake trips, or fireworks with friends, we've got the quality, the pricing, and the experience that made us Missouri's #1 dispensary 4 years running. Celebrate how you want with who you want with Greenlight. The best cannabis deals always at greenlightdispensary.com.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. Choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Give me one good reason why I should call DM Law.
How about 3 great reasons you should call us? 1, it's easy. You can hire us today on your phone. 2, it's fast. We can start helping you today. 3, the results.
After my wreck, DM Law got me $300,000. Mike's got this.
Call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Warm weather's here. Keep those bugs out with
2 minutes, gentlemen, 2 minutes.
Now's the time to establish and maintain a barrier around your home. Augustine Services is family-owned, a local business since 1966. All their techs are certified in both Kansas and Missouri, and they're a quality Green Pro company. Augustine Services also does carpet, rugs, air duct, and tile cleaning. Shop and buy local with Augustine Services. Call today at 913-359-8627. Go online at AugustineExterminators.com.
American Century Investments is a top global money manager headquartered in Kansas City for more than 65 years, managing more than $270 billion for clients. American Century helps clients achieve financial goals through mutual funds, exchange-traded funds, retirement solutions, and other strategies. Unique in the asset management industry, American Century directs 40% of profits to medical research at the Stowers Institute. Watch the American Century Championship July 11th through the 13th on NBC and Peacock.
Now is the time for Big O Tires Big Deal Days, now through July 13th. Get installed sets of 4 tires starting at just $400. That's right, 4 new tires installed for only $400. Plus, get the Healthy Car Special, which includes a $59.99 full-service synthetic blend oil change, tire rotation, alignment check, brake check, battery check, fluid top-off, and more. Secure total peace of mind in one powerful package. Roll into your locally owned and operated Big O Tires today. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Here's the best-kept secret in Kansas City, KCI Car.
30 seconds.
Inside the airport, tired of riding the shuttle buses when you fly? Let KCI Car Care pamper you and your car. They offer valet parking and vehicle service while traveling out of town, which is both helpful and convenient. They drive you to your terminal, drop you off curbside in your own vehicle, and pick you up curbside when you return. To find out more, call 816-243-5880. That's 816-243-5880. KCI Car Care Center, the only way to fly.
Sports Radio 810 WHB. Earlier this week, we spoke with Tanner Thorson, who is one of the top drivers in all of sprint car racing right now. He has posted some really great finishes here lately, still looking for that win. And here is part one of our conversation with sprint car driver Tanner Thorson. Tanner, I know you probably disappointed the other night, but the fact is you've had this 88 car running consistently up front for as long as I can remember now. That part you still got to feel good about, even though you still have yet to get a high limit win here this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a sign of relief for our team. It's been an up and down last year and a half, but we take everything we can and just try to learn off of it, and we've been doing a really good job as a whole group, I feel like, to kind of get to where we are right now.
And not just the high limit, but you've gone over there at the World of Outlaw site and ran pretty well too. Different racetracks, variety of different racetracks you've been running well at. But let's focus in on Lucas Oil Speedway here this past weekend. A second, a third, and a fourth place finish. That is really consistent. What are your thoughts about Lucas Oil Speedway, even though it got a little bit tricky for you there on Saturday night?
Yeah, it's probably one of my favorite tracks. We've been really good there over the last 2 years, and even previous when I went there with midgets. So just a track that kind of suits my driving style and my characteristics of how I like to race and stuff. And it's just been a really good racetrack to me over the last few years. So, the final night, me personally messed up, while we were getting ready for the last final bit touches, and didn't do a couple things, and actually forgot to do a couple. Was kind of put us in a slump there, and I knew instantly as soon as I fired off what I had forgotten to do, and there's nothing I could do at that point, except to try to race it as hard as I can and try to make the best of it. So,
are you willing to divulge what that was that you forgot?
No, not this time. No, because it's something that's been really beneficial to our team, I feel like, and it's probably beneficial to a lot of teams. It's just something that doesn't get talked about much. So, just something that got overlooked at times, and or at that time, and just couldn't do anything about it.
You were one of the fastest cars on the racetrack on Saturday night at the Diamond Classic. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, just to rally back from what happened and the track. Did the track conditions change?
Yeah, the track conditions always change. That's the beauty of dirt racing. They're always changing, but that's not why I spun out or whatnot. It didn't matter. I almost spun out when it was gripped up early in the race and about put in the fence like lap, I think, 8 or 9 when I was running the top. So just wasn't a comfy, I keep saying comfy, but wasn't a comfy feeling that I had going on that I kicking myself in the ass for overlooking. So, track was beautiful every night out, honestly. That's probably been the nicest racetrack as far as the consistency of how nice it was, and time trials, hot laps, heat race, all that type of stuff. So they did a really good job there.
Yeah, because every race was good. Even the dash was entertaining to watch.
Yeah, yep. No, it just comes down to a good track crew, I guess. I don't know the odds and ends and all that stuff with it coming down to who's prepping the track and whatnot. But I know Casey Schumann's there now, and he's obviously had a lot of experience with racing and dirt racing and stuff. And, he's able to kind of put his 2 cents into what they have already going. And I mean, the place was beautiful. I mean, the best racing surface we probably had all year for 3 nights in a row with rain conditions and everything else, and hot and windy. And I mean, they basically got everything thrown at them, and they overproduced and had a really, really nice racetrack.
You've gone to the coil-over suspension you're a rarity. I mean, most of these guys run the torsion bar there. But you've had a lot of experience with the coil-over. Just to talk about the progression of getting these cars to where they're running well, it's got to be really difficult.
Yeah, I'm a big person on trying to do stuff different ways and different way than anybody else. And you know, coilovers were a lot bigger back in the day, and you know, my father-in-law, he's raced coilovers probably more than anybody out there in his whole you know lifetime of racing. And then obviously his father, Steve Smith, that was on them before probably a lot of other people too. So just a lot of people that know about them, and I'm pretty familiar with coilovers and stuff through midget stuff. And I took my midget that was coilover front and torsion bar rear to 4 coils there, and won a lot of races, man. And got told that it wouldn't ever work or any of that. So that type of stuff drives me. But we did it with the sprint car, and we've had a lot of people kind of say the same thing. But the one thing that you know I have and everybody else has nowadays that they didn't really have back then is the shock technology that we have at this day and age, and factory cane shocks and Draco springs. Everybody that's a part of it that you know make the coilover go around. There's a lot of technology and a lot of knowledge in that realm of this part that we're trying to do. So it definitely makes it a lot easier, I feel like, for us, but also it's still trying just because we are the only car out there on the national tour, and realistically the only car that's running up front and being as consistent as a bar car out there. So I know Sammy's got a car that they race periodically every once in a while, and they're trying different stuff, and you know we kept it very simple, and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of little things we're doing different, but we tried to keep it as simple as possible to kind of just make the transition a lot easier. And each time we go out, we try something a little bit different or try to change something with the car. And every time we get back to the shop, we might be welding a new pickup point on somewhere or something just to try to benefit the car. So it's definitely been trying, but it's been good too. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing and try to stay as consistent and move little things here and there and go from there.
How proud are you that you're about as hands-on a driver as there is out there, that you've got your hands on everything, the setups of the car, you own the cars. I mean, just how much does that make you proud, not only to be a winning type driver, but also a winning car owner, that you're involved in every aspect of this thing?
Well, I don't own the cars, but I take care of them like they're my own, that's for sure. Rod Gross and Nancy Gross out of Pennsylvania, they're actually the owners of the team.
Yeah.
And they kind of just throw everything my way to allow me to run the program as if it was mine. So that's the beneficial factor there. And yeah, man, it's very, very satisfying knowing like what we're doing and the guys that I have on my team and stuff, that like I think we're probably one of the youngest crews out there from tire guy, car chief, and driver. And, you know, now I got my father-in-law who's a Hall of Famer and an 84-time Outlaw winner and stuff. He's always been a part of our program, but he's been a lot more invested here lately in the last couple months of watching us struggle and stuff. And he's got a lot going on with his business with Smith Titanium, and now he's kind of like actually putting a lot more, not that he wasn't before, but he's focusing in on our program a lot more. So it's definitely satisfying to know that we have a really fast race car, and I say it time and time again, we're just getting started, so it makes that even more satisfying.
Stevie Smith is his father-in-law. We saw Stevie win a lot of races back in the day, so
right.
Having him in your corner, that's a big help,
thing.
Isn't it?
That's a good thing.
So Tanner Thorson, even though he didn't win at Lucas Oil Speedway, posted a couple of pretty solid finishes. Do you think he would have won had he not spun out? Tyler Courtney was pretty fast down there on Saturday night. What do you think? Sunshine ended up winning that race. I'm saying that Tanner Thorson spun while leading the race. Do you think he would have won had he not spun? That's what I'm asking you.
I would say that he would have won if he...
You do say that?
Yep.
Well, one will never know at this point, but one thing is for certain, Tyler Courtney is the happiest guy out of Lucas Oil Speedway last weekend.
The 88 car spun out in turn 4.
Turn 4, yep. You and I were watching that together up there. What do you think? We had a good time down there at Lucas Oil Speedway on Saturday night.
We did.
Yeah, so... Good trip down there. Watched Aaron Reitzel also have a good weekend. He won the Thursday night preliminary and then ended up in second. I thought Reitzel, once he got out in the lead, he was just going to run away and hide. What do you think? Well, it didn't happen that way. He got up with lap traffic, and here comes Sunshine. Rico ends up in third. He won Friday night's preliminary round at Lucas Oil Speedway. So top three finishers, Tyler Courtney, Aaron Reitzel, and Rico. Tanner Thorson rallies back to fourth. Brad Sweet fifth. And Brent Marks ends up in sixth place. We look at the point standings right now. Aaron Reitzel has the lead. 9-point lead over Brad Sweet right now. What do you think of that? Brad Sweet is not the points leader anymore. It's Aaron Reitzel.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. They're back in action next weekend at Florence Speedway in Kentucky. And if you look at the top five in the points in high limit, 47 points separate the top five right now. Brent Marks in fifth place, Rico just ahead of him in fourth, and you got Sunshine in third, Brad Sweet second, and Aaron Reitzel your leader. Not so close in the World of Outlaws. David Gravel running away with it in the World of Outlaws. So pretty good action down at the Diamond Classic. Next weekend, we're going to be back down there watching the late models, the Diamond Nationals, the CMH Diamond Nationals for the Lucas Oil Late Model Series at Lucas Oil Speedway next Friday and Saturday. So lots of good action. And, boy, he hit the mark, Tanner Thorson, when he talked about the track conditions at Lucas Oil Speedway. They've got this thing figured out down there now, don't they?
Yep. Bobby Pierce has got a 50-point lead over Nick Hoffman.
In the World of Outlaw Late Model Series.
Right.
You think they took a little bit of a hit last night after Bobby Pierce got upside down, rolled his race car? Going to have to probably roll out a different car tonight at Deer Creek for the Gopher 50. So, anyway, those are the point leaders of the major series. And as we told you here a few minutes ago, Jonathan Davenport is the new points leader, taking over from Ricky Thornton Jr. last night in the Lucas Oil Late Model Series. Tonight they're at Muskegum in the Lucas Oil Late Model Series.
All right, we're going to take a break. Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Track Talk.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications.
2.5 minutes, gentlemen. 2.5.
1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Jeff Montgomery here. It's summer and time for baseball, golf, and getting outside. But if you're a man and waking up at night and dealing with frequent urination, it could be an enlarged prostate. Do what I did and speak with Dr. Brown at Miva Medical. They helped me.
You guys are going to have an outro time of 57:18. That's when your music is going to hit. I'll let you know at 56:18. You got 2 minutes left.
Perfect.
right here in Kansas City. Trust them like I did. Visit MivaMedical.com. That's MIVA-medical.com.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. My team knows injury law. We can help you understand all of your legal rights so that you don't get cheated.
DM Law knew what to do and got me $150,000.
Mike's got this. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
30 seconds, gentlemen.
Experts at Rose Hill Gardens, proudly celebrating our 100th and 11th anniversary. From stunning landscape designs and installation, big or small, to custom irrigation, lighting, and maintenance. We do it all. Our 12 in-house designers specialize in creating one-of-a-kind outdoor spaces with hardscapes, outdoor living areas, and plants and trees grown right on our farm. Let us help you build your personal paradise. Visit rosehillgardens.com, where beauty takes root. Rose Hill Gardens, 111 years of growing with you.
Welcome back to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Midwest Lightning Sprints. Kirk?
Big payday for dirt modified driver Tanner Mullins last Saturday night, winning the Larry Phillips Memorial at Monett Speedway. That's pretty big money, $15,000 for dirt modified, isn't it?
It is.
So we spoke with Tanner earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports, and here's a little bit of that conversation. Well, I bet you're feeling really good after that big payday down at Monett Speedway the other night, the Larry Phillips Memorial. How big was that?
It was a good one for sure. That race meant a lot to us, and we're glad to be able to pick that one up.
$15,000, that's a big payday for these dirt modifieds. Just you looked dominant on Saturday night. You swept the weekend. Friday night, Saturday night, you looked pretty dominant out there. But there was a little bit of a close call there when Gary Christian spun out right in front of you. How close was that?
It was close. He left enough room there. But, yeah, I could hear him every now and then, behind me. I knew he was making up some time, but that top was hard to run. So you'd hear him for a couple laps and he'd be gone. So I knew he was fast, but he was making a few mistakes there trying to get by. And then when he did slide me the first time, we got by, and then the second time, he ended up spinning around. But that was a relief to see that.
You pretty much dominated that race. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, our car just was good all weekend, really, since we practiced a little bit on Thursday, and we really didn't make any changes the whole weekend, just a few small minor things. And, it's every time we hit the track, it seemed to be really good, and just fortunate to have unload that good, I guess.
You're third on the USMTS Tour this year. This was not a national USMTS race. It's a Heartland Modified Tour. What do you think about these secondary series like the Heartland Modified Tour? Car counts look terrific in this Heartland Modified Tour series.
Oh, yeah, I think it's great, for like a regional thing, and they're all close to home. They pay really well. They got a great points fund, and Trenton and the boys over there, they do an awesome job at promoting it and giving back to the racers and making it fun for us to do, really. And so any chance we get, we definitely try to support them, and we have fun doing it.
This Monett Speedway, they call it the granddaddy or what? This is an old racetrack. What do you think about Monett Speedway?
It's really a pretty cool place. You know, a lot of them places that have been around for a long time, they have a lot of history, and normally it's got a different like a vibe when you pull in. You can tell when a place has been around for a while and got some history behind it. And Jesse Stovall and all of them over there, they really turned that place around, and they got the racing surface really good. And he worked on it day in and day out the whole time that we was there, and to give us something really well to race on. So I think they're all doing a really good job over there, and we definitely enjoy going over there. It's a great place to race.
Do you like that no wall on the outside at Monette?
Yeah, it kind of gives it an old school vibe. A lot of these places anymore are getting walls all the way around them, and a lot of the tracks used to seem like they didn't have walls on either end, and it's just kind of cool to go to a place like that, and a place with that much history. And I know Larry Phillips and Terry, they've all raced there, growing up or all through the years. So it was just it's pretty cool to get over there and get to race.
You outrun a bunch of good guys: Brandon Givens, Rodney Sanders, Terry Phillips, Mark Smith, Dustin Hodges. Talk about that a little bit.
Brandon Givens, he's actually a really good friend of mine and a customer. So to have him run second in one of our chassis that we build was pretty special. And Rodney, he's really good, and we race with him a lot. Terry, he's like I call him my second dad. He's really good, been really good to me since ever we met, and it's just to be able to win that race in his dad's memory was really special for us. And but yeah, there's a lot of good competition there, so to be able to win was special.
You're third in the USMTS points right now. You won a race up at Casino Speedway in Watertown here a couple of weeks ago. Just where are we at with dirt modified racing right now in the USMTS?
I think we're doing good. We have had a few DNFs, and it kind of set us back. I feel like we might be second in points if we didn't have those, but that's just part of it. And we have a few weeks off with them before we head back up north, I think, to like Minnesota, Wisconsin area. So it gives us some time to go do some racing around here and work on our stuff. But we're definitely looking forward to getting back to traveling with them, and hopefully trying to get that points lead here before the end of the year.
He'll be racing his late model tonight down at Enid Speedway in Oklahoma. I thought maybe he might show up at Central Missouri Speedway this weekend, but he decided to dig out his late model and run that this weekend. He's a guy that might be a factor in this USMTS championship this year, sitting currently third in the points. But it'll be hard to beat guys like Rodney Sanders and Jim Chisholm, the most recent USMTS champions, but good guy, Tanner Mullins. Hey, I wanted to mention Tyler Wolf won the modified race in the Heartland Modified Tour at Lucas Oil Speedway on Thursday night. And then he gets in a late model and races out at Lakeside Speedway last night, Scott. Tyler Wolf wins the Revival late model race at Lakeside Speedway last night. So a lot of these guys that are going from modifieds to late models.
What's the Revival series?
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But they've raced out at Lakeside Speedway a couple of times right now, going through the finishing order of last night's feature. Tyler Wolf, Tyler Kuykendall, Brandon Conkright, Kylan Garner, and Chevy Boyer. The top 5 finishers out at Lakeside Speedway last night. Looked like they had 17 cars out there last night. They're going to run they didn't run the B-Mods last night. The B-Mods, by the way, are going to be at CMS tonight. They weren't on the card last night. So we'll see B-Mods down there. Tim Carrick, I'm sure, will be in the field tonight down at Central Missouri Speedway. So anyway, that's some of the local racing. Hey, on the national front, what do you think of Chase Elliott finally getting a win last Saturday night down at Atlanta? Home track. That's a big win for Chase Elliott near his home.
They were celebrating in Dawsonville, wasn't they?
The Siren, they call it. They got going down there at the pool room down there in Dawsonville.
They were partying hard.
You know, he was saying that, this is great. I get to drive home after this race,
Yeah, that's a pretty good gig there.
Be like you driving home from Lakeside. It's not. It may be a little farther than that.
Yep.
Than your home there, Todd.
Pretty good trip for old Elliott down there. Did you say
that was a pretty good race?
Did you say Boyer was the last name of one of those drivers that won out there at Lakeside Speedway?
Yeah. Is any relation to the Boyer?
And his first name was Chevy.
Says Chevy. Boy, it's not spelled like Clint Boyer.
Okay.
It's spelled Boyer.
Okay.
Clint's is
Bowyer. Yep.
Chevy Boyer.
Well, you knew he was going to be a race car.
How about that name? Yeah. Hey, today or this weekend, they're at the streets of Chicago. I'm not sure this will be the last street race in Chicago. I don't know. But Shane Van Gisbergen has got to be the odds-on favorite, don't you think? The way he won this race 2 years ago. Alex Bowman won last year.
Yeah, I think SVG's got he's your champ. He's your odds-on favorite today.
He's the best road racer in NASCAR right now.
Yeah,
I mean, the way he dominated Mexico City.
He was 7 seconds ahead,
and he dominated this race 2 years ago. Remember that?
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Marvin, who's checking in from Miamisburg, Ohio.
Welcome, Marvin. Miamisburg, Ohio. Is that that's somewhere around Dayton? Not probably. He's probably a big Eldora Speedway fan, I would say. Probably. Hey, I just want to mention that Indy cars are going to be at Iowa Speedway next weekend for 2 races, Saturday and Sunday. This weekend they're at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. How about Santino Ferrucci? He showed up at the BC 39 the other night.
That was pretty cool.
He finished third in his last IndyCar race. You know, we see him at the Chili Bowl every year. But he shows up at the BC 39 the other night. He's they're interviewing him down there, and he takes a Busch Light and shotguns it right there on national TV, on Flow Racing right there, and got it all over his black shirt. But he was having a good time. He was fanning it.
He was having fun.
Santino was fanning it.
Always root for Santino, and when Helio retired, that's who I picked up as my IndyCar driver, so it'll be good stuff.
You think he can win a race up at Iowa Speedway next weekend?
He could win. He's been finishing. He's had a couple top podium finishes, and he's been running pretty good. I think just luck falls his way. He may end up doing it.
Joseph Newgarden had dominated that race, but he didn't win last year.
No.
It was the Penske cars that won last year, McLaughlin and Power. So we'll see what happens up there next week. In Knoxville tonight, Ryan Timms. Can he win again? He's got 4 wins now. He outran Brian Brown last week up at Knoxville.
Are you going to go to Knoxville tonight?
I'm going to go down. I've decided to go to Central Missouri Speedway tonight. Watch the Heartland Modified Tour. That's where I'm going.
Going to CMS? Hey.
You better get that read in, Kirk, whenever you get a chance there.
Hey, talk to Earl Walls about selling that place.
Well, it's for sale, so I hope it stays a racetrack. So, yeah, we'll find out what the status is of that here. But looking forward to checking it out. Hey, before we go, I just want to mention the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's got the Corvette giveaway. And the weeks are, we're counting it down, aren't we? The day after the Knoxville Nationals, August 10th is the last day you can sign up for this. Go to winacorvette.org to get registered.
2 minutes, gentlemen.
Beautiful. Competition yellow Corvette ZR1 with a ZTK package and $30,000 for the grand prize winner.
1,064 horsepower.
That's pretty powerful, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. You don't think I can handle that?
Nope.
I know you could.
I could.
So anyway, get registered for that. Winacorvette.org. Make sure you check out the Manzanita Speedway Salute if you're in Knoxville tonight. But the Hall of Fame is open 7 days a week. Check out the gift shop. items at SprintCarStuff.com, National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. They're going to induct members to the Knoxville Raceway Hall of Fame today, and one of those inductees is Kerry Madsen. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. The Knoxville Race, not the National Sprint Car, the Knoxville Raceway Hall of Fame induction is today at noon up at the Dyer Hudson Building.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Don't forget, hour number 2 exclusively on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
And RacingBoys.com.
And RacingBoys.com.
And we got the Monday show. We'll post that on our podcast on Monday.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Okay, guys, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, my man. Appreciate it.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle.
All right, Easton, you got me?
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Shirt, especially sportswear, in-house. We do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other add specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sabres 33 RLP. Let's go take a tour. Coming into this animal, we're going to take a trip back here to the feature of this trailer, the deck. Check it out. It's awesome. It's 4 by 10 feet. You can dance on this thing. Boom! Check it out. It's pretty nice. And then coming to the back of this thing, you got a 75-inch TV. It's huge. 60-inch fireplace. Nice and big, keep you warm. Then you got an ottoman that converts into a table, if you will, maybe some TV trays. Then this hide-a-bed that I'm pointing at, it comes out and folds into like a king-size bed with storage in the corner for all your linens. Great little addition to the trailer. Your dinette, of course. Then you're gonna come around to the kitchen with the tic-toc sink. It's got the spritzer and the waterfall and all that stuff. Residential style refrigerator. It's got the microwave and the oven that's residential as well. Big old pantry over here with motion detected lights, coffee bar, and then coming up to the bedroom, you'll have the bathroom first, nice and spacious with a seat in it for them ladies. And then we got the king size bedroom with washer dryer hookup. I'm telling you, this is a home run for a couples coach. Come and see me. Kyle Walker.
When Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
So we have a lot of folks come in interested in traveling for work. This is going to be a great option. Your Coachman Northern Spirit 2565 front kitchen. You have a nice wraparound full front kitchen here. Huge windows up top. Big 12-volt refrigerator. Lots of windows on the sides here. Great natural light coming in. You have your big TV over here on the swing arm bracket so you can kind of see it from any point in the room. Also have your bar stools here. Sit and eat your breakfast. In the bedroom, you're going to have a king-size bed in the slide-out. Lots of storage underneath that. Washer, dryer, hookup. Tons of storage with the drawers. Then you got your full bath across the back. When it comes down to a camper that you can get for 6,500 pounds and be under 30 feet long, this is an absolute home run.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guide. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country, because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back to Track Talk, hour number 2, exclusively on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, and RacingBoys.com.
One other event we haven't really talked a lot about is the Summer Nationals for the dirt late models. Scott, how tough is this? You go for a month and you're racing just about every day. A lot of these late model guys like Tyler Erb and Jason Fager and some of these guys are out there running these late model races every day of the week. How tough is that to make sure all your equipment is together to do that kind of a grind?
That would be a terrible grind, Kirk, because, as you know, people, it takes a lot of effort to get the...
Well, when you venture out on a series like that, you got to spend a lot of time just getting your parts and pieces together.
Right.
I mean, you've got to spend a lot of time in your hauler just making sure you got enough of everything. To do this for like a month straight. Now, they break it up now. It used to be an overall championship. There still is an overall championship, but now they break it up where you have week-long championships. So, for instance, Brandon Shepard won week 3, but he's not running the whole series. He's got, Lucas Oil late model commitments. And you had Ryan Gustin winning week 2 and Jason Fager winning week 1. But Fager has been out there through this whole thing, and he won again last night at Red Hill Raceway. He beat Dylan McCowan to the line. We had Tyler Millwood winning the night before that. So Fager has been really the guy to beat, and he proved it again last night by winning. Tyler Erb is the other guy that's been in the hunt this year. He's won several races. He broke the night before that, but came back with a fifth place finish last night. He started fourth and ended up in fifth place. But, we've been following. That series is coming to a conclusion here, about another week or so? So we'll keep an eye on that. If you want to watch any of those races, they're up on Dirt Vision. And great job by Chris Steppen, who announces those races. They also got the Summit Modified Tour in action as well. So a lot of those, this more centered around Illinois than anywhere else. A lot of racetracks out in Illinois host these events. But you see them, they ran at Springfield Raceway down in Missouri here a couple of weeks ago. I think, there's some track. We've seen them close to Kansas City in the past, not very often, but because a lot of those guys that run that series are based out of Illinois.
Right.
So anyway, it's been kind of fun watching that, but it's become tougher over the last several years for, try to get the car counts. The number of guys used to be, 10, 20 years ago, you'd have plenty of race cars, plenty of guys out there, but as everything's gotten more expensive and how difficult it is to really do this, and the car count started dwindling a little bit on this series, that's when they had the idea to break it up into weeks and have week-long championships in addition to the overall championship. But it's still, they still get pretty decent car counts by doing that now. And Summer National's been going on they call it the Hell Tour. I guess that's a good name for it, right? The Hell Tour. So anyway, I've been kind of watching a lot of those races too. And, we're into the time of the year to where you want to watch races every day. You can do that. There's plenty of stuff to watch up there. I got to say that the quality of the racing has been as good as it's ever been right now. Just seems like every time you tune in, we're seeing some pretty entertaining races out there. So hats off to the track crews for I haven't seen as many rubber down racetracks lately as we've seen in the past. So I think a lot of the, track prep guys have done a pretty good job of keeping a lot of. It's been a while since I've seen a true rubber down racetrack. So hats off to all the guys who prep the racetracks, especially Lucas Oil Speedway last weekend, which all 3 nights was just fabulous, the quality of action that we saw down there. Looking forward to the late models next weekend.
So what class is the late models?
Next weekend, the Lucas Oil late models show up at Lucas Oil Speedway. So I would guess that Jonathan Davenport is going to be a factor in that. He's been running good at Lucas Oil Speedway. Now that he's the points leader, he's got to be licking his chops. Coming in next weekend, the weekend after that, they're at the Silver Dollar Nationals up at Houston Speedway. And they got a couple of other races that they're going to be going to. In addition to Lucas Oil Speedway, they're going to be going to the Shelby County Speedway up in Harlan, Iowa, as one of the races that they're going to be going to. And so, there's a lot of activity going on in dirt late model racing right now.
The Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, would you say that's the number one series?
Yeah, I would say right now it is. I would think that they got the bigger depth of talent, although, you see some guys like Ryan Gustin, who came from 23rd to 2nd last night in the World of Outlaws series. You see guys like Nick Hoffman, who ended up winning last night. Of course, Bobby Pierce, he's right up there with all of them. But if you look at the total depth of talent, I think the Lucas Oil Late Model Series is probably got the World of Outlaws covered right now. But there's still some pretty good talent on the top end in both those series.
So who do you think's at the top, Kirk, the World of Outlaws or the Lucas Oil Late Model Series?
I just said, I think Lucas Oil probably right now you'd have to say number one. They've got the bigger, the Crown Jewel events right now, although there are some pretty big money races coming up in the World of Outlaws. They have the Prairie Dirt Classic at Fairbury coming up later this month. They have the $100,000 to win USA Nationals at Cedar Lake. Those are two major events that the World of Outlaws has, but the majority of the Crown Jewel events for dirt late model racing is on the Lucas Oil late model side in terms of just the overall numbers. So that's what attracts maybe the better drivers. And I think the money at the end of the season for the championship is higher on the Lucas Oil late model side as well. Ricky Thornton Jr. won, $300,000 for winning the championship last year? So in terms of the money and the overall number of Crown Jewel events, that attracts more depth of talent on the Lucas Oil late model side. Now, as far as the sprint cars are concerned, what do you think is the better of the two, World of Outlaws or High Limit? Now, both series have high-level talent at the top end, but I'm going to say the High Limit Racing Series has the bigger depth of talent on the sprint car side. What do you say?
I'm going to side on the World of Outlaws, Kirk.
So we disagree on that.
Right.
So I'm just saying, now the World of Outlaws has David Gravel, Carson Macedo, Logan Schuard, Sheldon Hodenshield, Betty Kofoid, who's as good as any of them right now. And the High Limit side has Brad Sweet and Tyler Courtney and Aaron Reitzel and Rico Abreu. But I'm just going to say the overall depth of talent, the number of high-level guys, I think the High Limit has it a little bit over the World of Outlaws. But I think this experiment of two major series in sprint car racing has not been the dire consequence that a lot of people predicted a couple of years ago, Scott. It's like the late model side. The Lucas Oil late models and the World of Outlaws have coexisted for 20 years now. Why can't the sprint cars coexist? I think what it's done is the battle between High Limit and World of Outlaws has brought in more guys to race on a national tour. Why? Because there's more money on the line. They can race for more money than they used to, and I think it's helped the World of Outlaws with the High Limit Racing Series coming into being, because the World of Outlaws have done some things now. They've upped the ante that they probably wouldn't have done had the High Limit Racing Series come about. Don't you think? World of Outlaws has upped their program, and I don't think they would have been motivated to do so if the High Limit Series has come about. So I think everybody wins. All these guys are still coming together for the big Crown Jewel events. High Limit is not scheduled on top of the World of Outlaws, especially for the bigger races. They've not scheduled against the Outlaws. For the Knoxville shows, there's been 3 of those. They've not scheduled against them against the Huset's race, the High Bank Nationals, Eldora, Knoxville. Now, both series are going to be together at Eldora, the High Limit racing on a Wednesday, Thursday with the Joker's Jackpot, and the Outlaws Friday and Saturday with the King's Royals. So there is that dynamic. But the High Limit is not scheduled against the World of Outlaws when the Knoxville Nationals come around. Why? Because a lot of those High Limit guys want to win the Knoxville Nationals.
Right.
So I'm not sure in the future if the Outlaws are going to have to back off of their limit of 4 outside races that they can run. High Limit is wide open. They allow their drivers to go race anywhere they want. But how big of a factor is the franchising going to be that High Limit is coming up with that amount of money that they're going to offer these franchisees? How different that's going to be from how they pay out the best money for the Outlaws. How that's all going to shake out over the next few years, I guess time will tell. But I think there's going to be plenty of guys that are going to run both of these series, and fans will still be treated to a lot of good races, and they'll still be seeing the best of both series coming together for the big money races.
Kirk, the points battle in the high limit series, Brad Sweet is back by 9. Tyler Courtney's back by 19. Rico Abreu is back by 31. And Brent Marks is back by 47.
47 points separate the top 5.
Right.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a lot more exciting to watch than the Outlaws, where David Gravel would have to have more than one catastrophic night in order for that to turn into any kind of a battle. But I got to say, Scott, that Buddy Kofoid runs a lot of the season as well as David Gravel does. But David Gravel doesn't have any do-not finishes. He never has any bad nights. He maybe had one did not finish over the last year. That came a few weeks back. But that's the difference. Buddy Kofoid's performance has been as good as Gravel out there, but Gravel's been, he just don't have any do-not finishes. That's the difference.
Gravel's back by Buddy Kofoid is back by 184 points.
I think it's too far for Buddy to come back. I mean, when you have that kind of a separation, it's all about what David Gravel does now. If David Gravel continues to post top 10 finishes, which he's done all but one time this year, there's no way he's going to lose the championship, even at this point in the season. I mean, we're into July now, so we've still got a long way to go, but to me, the World of Outlaw Championship's all about what David Gravel does. Because, as well as Buddy Kofoid has been running this year, it's still going to be, what David Gravel can do or not do to separate that. Now, on the high limit side, Brad Sweet had that disqualification up there at Butler here a few weeks back that really opened the door for anything to happen. Brad Sweet is going for his 7th straight National Tour Championship. Remember, he won 5 in a row in the World of Outlaws. Now he's going for his 2nd straight high limit win. But the way Aaron Reitzel has been running, and Tyler Courtney, he's always been pretty consistent. Rico, Brad Sweet is not, you can't say that he's the prohibitive favorite right now, because there's, these other guys are that good that they can post consistent finishes well. So I think Brad Sweet is he's going to have some trouble on his hands trying to post another championship here.
Hey, Rico is 6 wins, 11 top 5s, 17 top 10s, and 22 starts.
Yep. You know what I'm waiting on Rico to do, though, as well as he's been running? He needs to post a big-time Crown Jewel win. Eldora, Kings Royal, Knoxville Nationals. Rico is poised to do that. He's just not done it yet.
You think Rico's got a chance to win the Knoxville Nationals?
Sure. Absolutely. And he showed up and he won a couple of races at Knoxville this year. So his Knoxville program's pretty solid right now. But that will elevate Rico's status if he can just pick up one of these big Crown Jewel. He can win at Eldora. He can win the Kings Royal. So Tyler Courtney has already won a Kings Royal. Brad Sweet has won 2 Kings Royals, a Knoxville Nationals. David Gravel has won all of the Crown Jewel events, but Rico has yet to post that big-time Crown Jewel event, and I think he's poised to do that. He could win either Kings Royal or Knoxville.
Hey, Todd, you ready to run that Tanner Thorson interview? All right.
Yes, sir.
More from Tanner Thorson. Do you think Tanner Thorson can win the Kings Royal? I say yes. Could he win Knoxville? I don't know about that.
That 88 car is so fast right now.
How big would that be if Tanner Thorson would win a big-time Crown Jewel event with that coilover suspension?
That would be big.
That would be huge. Well, let's hear more from Tanner Thorson, part 2 of our conversation from earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports.
You've run 21 features. You've got 6 top 5s and 11 top 10s. Talk about that a little bit.
Just comes down to good quality parts and, just having an eye and a hand on everything in the shop. And, Brent Marvel, he's been with me for a long time. One of my best friends that goes up and down the road and helps take care of this program. And, we don't look over anything. We try not to, at least. And except, obviously Saturday night, I looked over a little piece of the package that I needed, but, we were able to make the best out of what I messed up. So, it just comes down to good parts, good morale in the pit. We, factory cane shocks, Draco springs, Smith titanium for our brakes and all our bolts and everything else that he makes, which is a lot. And Maxima racing oils. We got good motors, good wings, outlaw wings, just everything that holds up really, really well to help us be able to race as hard as we do and as much as we do and still have the structure that's built in with, these cars go through a lot of damage throughout the night and with rocks and mud clods and just dust and everything that, gets put on these things. So it just comes down to having a lot of good manufacturers in our corner. And, Maxim Chassis builds us these cars. And, the first car we built, we kind of brought back and we had no shock pickup points and any of that. And, we did all that stuff in-house, but Maxim's, the big name behind our chassis, which is pretty cool because they don't build any cars for anybody else except us. So, and I'm sure they would, but it's cool that we're the only ones they're doing them for. So, we just keep building, man. It's a long year. We're just we're in a little stride right now where we're very consistent, and that's what we're going to focus on, keep doing, and keep trying to run up front.
You mentioned your team owner, Rod Gross. How'd you get hooked up with Rod Gross?
I was racing out in Pennsylvania for a guy, Aaron Long, with AL Drivelines, and he noticed me working on the race car, and he's from back in the 70s and 80s when all the drivers used to work on their cars, and he saw that I was one of the only ones in the pits working on my cars, and he just wanted to be affiliated. And it went from us running, I think we were going to run like 25 races to basically running the whole high limit deal. So, and he raced his self for quite some time too. And he actually ran the 461 Brickmobile car back in the 70s for Walter Dyer. And, just a matter of, I guess working hard finally paid off for me. A lot of people see it and a lot of people know, but I like to do all my own stuff for the most part. And, it's finally, I felt like paid off, and this is my shot to kind of show what I can do as a driver and basically, I don't know what you'd really call it, a team manager and basically not an owner, but have the roles of owning this stuff and kind of financially making decisions on what we do. And obviously, I have to run all that stuff by Rod and Nancy, but like for the most part, if it makes sense, it's a go, So, that's just Rod, I actually I didn't get to meet him in person till our very first race. And we had spent a lot of money up until that point. A guy like him that's willing to take a chance on someone like me just from, hearing my name and then watching me work and stuff like that. And, obviously, talking to people, I'm sure, about me and trying to get every little aspect of how I am and what I mean. And then giving me the trust to do that is, shows how good of a person he is. And, I owe a lot to him and his wife for giving me the opportunity.
you had so much success with the open wheel stuff. You're a former Chili Bowl champion. You did well in the midgets and the non-wing sprint cars. What is the biggest challenge putting a wing on a sprint car over what you had so much success doing with the open wheel stuff?
I think just having all the little things right, whether it's having, and this isn't necessarily a challenge, but this is just making sure everything's right. If your rear end was a little bit out of square or your motor wasn't fueled 100% correctly, or you had a little bit of a hotter plug-in than, or colder plug-in than what you should, like, all that type of stuff doesn't matter in non-wing and midget. Like, yeah, it might, but it's not going to make you qualify first to 15th, and all this stuff that you have to do to be up front and have your car fast has been our biggest downfall, and not necessarily because we don't know. It's just because it's fresh. We're just trying to give a consistent car, and make sure everything's right. And I think that's been my biggest, not necessarily struggle, but biggest thing I've had to work on is just make sure, like, when the air gets bad, gearing and spark plugs and fuel system and all that type of stuff, where on the midgets and non-wing, you just throw whatever you basically want at it, because you're not going to burn it up, and you just, kind of keep it the same throughout the night. So that's been our biggest thing, is just learning our gears. And we have, 3 different motor manufacturers, and every one of them's a little bit different. So each motor takes a little bit of a different gear. And like Lucas Oil, we were running second and blew up a motor last year there, and we put that same gear in this year with a completely different motor, and we were 20 points different on gearing. So, and then we put that gear in the next night, and we were back in the hunt. So, yeah, it's just about hitting everything right. It's made me a better, better person at trying to focus on stuff like that, because I'll be honest, I focus on my race cars and setups, but I would never focus on that type of stuff with my midget program. And now going back and running my midget, I'm for sure probably going to focus on that stuff even a little bit more, and it might make us a little bit better. But that and just competition levels a lot harder. You can ask anybody that jumps back and forth. Wing racing is no joke.
Talk about the size of the difference on the tires between a midget and a sprint car.
There's a big difference, a lot of difference in weight and obviously size, and non-wing car is obviously the same as a wing car, but yeah, it's just a big difference bouncing back and forth too. Like when I was racing wing cars before, I was bouncing back and forth racing midgets and non-wing cars, and never really got to settle in and just race a wing car. And I think that's been my biggest key to our success too this year, has been that, like, I'm focusing 120% on wing sprint car racing, and it's allowing me to work on my driving as a driver, as a I'm not my own crew chief, but like I am, but I'm not, because Stevie kind of stepped in and started doing all that stuff. But it just helps. It's been helping me kind of stay focused in on one thing, and it's allowing our speed to be a lot more consistent, where I'm not bouncing back and forth and changing up driving habits and stuff, because midgets and non-wing have such a unique characteristic about how you drive them. And I drive a midget a lot different than most people, and actually it's even harder to go from how I drive it to how someone else might drive it to go drive a wing car. So it's just, I think that's been our biggest factors in our program.
How big is that? I mean, Stevie has won a lot of races, been behind the wheel of a race car a lot. To have that kind of experience when you go to discuss the setups of these race cars, that he's got that kind of background.
Yeah, absolutely. It's everything, honestly. I mean, you gotta have the car and your program right. Like, that's obviously key. Like, is having everything right. Your rear ends are squared. Everything's perfect. Your motors are fueled right and all that stuff. But the factor of making sure your car goes around the racetrack and eliminating everything else except setup is the next big step, right? And that's where I feel like we've struggled a little bit, just because of me being fresh and not, you know, having all the experience on gearing and fuel systems and stuff like that. So like I'm focusing on both sides of it. Now I get to focus on gearing and fuel system stuff alone. And Stevie, you know, is saying, hey, do this, and I'll kind of put my 2 cents in. And sometimes, you know, he'll be like, yeah, let's actually do that. Or it might be absolutely not, you know, like we don't need to go down that road. So he's very, very smart. It's stupid how smart he is, to be quite honest. He gets me spun out sometimes the way he talks and just about certain things. And I mean, I said this in a broadcast the other night at the racetrack. He's smart about everything. It doesn't matter if it's a race car, in the machine shop, motorhome. He's lived this life. He's drove the race cars. He's set cars up. He's traveled up and down the road. He's done it all. And he's done it all in the world I'm living in, right? He's been in my shoes. He's been trying to develop cars and motors and stuff like that. So he gets it. So him and I just, not only is he my father-in-law, but he's honestly like a friend, a good friend too, you know, like we just bounce stuff off each other. We give each other shit and, you know, we just keep going. So, he's been a huge part of changing my driving around, from what I normally do to how I drive now. And then, you know, I got Lee Lindgren, who's raced with me years in past, that my driving style wasn't a big factor because we're out on the West Coast. So I got 2 guys that like are helping me kind of be more beneficial on that side of it. And, yeah, it's been nothing but good.
I bet you can't wait to get back out to California. You won out there last year. Get back some of those tracks you're really familiar with.
Yeah, I always say I'm ready to go back there, and then we always seem to struggle out there for whatever reason. I'm ready to get to whatever track right now. My car's been good. I've been really comfortable. You know, got my family traveling with me. I got my team is, I feel like, just starting to get to where we need to be as far as having motors and having our car stuff right, and everything just is right. So I'm excited to get to every track that we're going to, where usually I'm just like, you know, I struggled there. I don't like that place. Now I don't really give a shit where we go. It's just a matter of getting to the racetrack and going and racing. So, and that's a very, very comfortable feeling for me and my team to know that I'm ready to go, you know, and I'm looking forward to it.
When you won the Chili Bowl 3 years ago, which was also close to the house, that was a special moment. 3 years removed from that, what do you still think about your Chili Bowl win?
Greatest win of my life. It was just the win I wanted the most, honestly, and it's something that I look forward to every year. I'm glad they're kind of starting to crack down on some of the tire doping and stuff like that, and
right.
You know, it's been good. Like when we won it, I can say that I was literally USAC legal, which is a good feeling. So,
yeah, I remember you saying that at the time. And you knew that at the time, just how big that was, because you didn't do a lot of the crazy stuff that a lot of people were doing.
Yeah, man, if you got to cheat to win, it ain't even worth it. To be honest, you know, everybody knows who's doing it. That's the funny part, and everybody acts like they don't know, and they, you know, and so we all know who's doing the cheating, and we all know who's not, and it's just a matter of if you get caught or not. I used to have a car that says it ain't cheating unless you get caught, and I didn't race for that guy very long. So, yeah, it's I can say, for what I've known, and especially my stuff, owning my midgets and taking care of sprint cars and stuff that I've done personally, I can say that I've won without cheating. So that's a good feel, and to know that you know, you can win without doing that makes it a lot more worth it.
You taking the whole 4th of July weekend off like everybody else and coming back at Florence, or what's your plans here coming up?
Yep, that's the plan. We're gonna get everything kind of stripped down and go through everything and get everything kind of ready to go for this next half of the season. I feel like we're kind of in a halfway period right now, a little bit before halfway, but get everything kind of ready to go. And then, we'll regroup one more time before Knoxville, and then we're, on the road from Knoxville to California to Port Royal. So like we're back going really hard again. So just back at the shop right now. We just got done washing from this weekend, and we just got some lunch, and we're going to start kind of getting after it and, take the 4th of July weekend off. My guys will go, with their families, I'm sure. And me and my family will, go watch some fireworks and have some cold beers and eat some good food and be ready to go.
It's only a matter of time before Tanner Thorson posts that big high limit win. Of course, he won last year on the high limit series out in California at tracks he's pretty familiar with, but now he's running it well enough everywhere that it's just only a matter of time before he gets a win.
Unfortunately, he spun out down there at Lucas Oil Speedway.
Yeah. I don't know if that is related to what he said he forgot to do before the A-Main, but certainly had he remembered to do what he forgot to do, Tanner Thorson probably would have won on Saturday night. I don't know. We'll never know that because Courtney, he was running pretty good too. He ran well all weekend. The only problem that Sunshine had is he had an ignition box failure on Thursday night. And the rest of the weekend, he ran well enough to win all 3 nights, as did Rico Abreu, as did Aaron Reitzel. Those guys were pretty consistent the whole weekend down there.
Kirk, we need to get into the Tanner Mullins interview.
Part 2 of Tanner Mullins, the winner of the Larry Phillips Memorial in the Heartland Modified Tour down at Monett Speedway. Big-time USMTS drivers in the top 3 in points. Here's more from Tanner Mullins from earlier this week on Mostly Motorsports. The transition from modifieds to late models has been pretty successful for a lot of guys. We see Ricky Thornton Jr., we see Dustin Sorensen, a former champion of the USMTS, making the transition up and doing well. Of course, Ryan Gustin has done very well, former USMTS champion as well. And now Dan Ebert is running full-time. So what is it about the transition from modifieds to late models and why it has been so successful for a lot of these guys?
I think, like the modifieds, you got a lot less spoiler and a lot less of aero package. You get in the late model and you have, twice the downforce, twice the power, but then you got twice the motor too. So there's some things that transfer over, but just driving wise, they handle a lot different and just kind of a little bit of a learning curve. But I feel like, running modifieds would help you in that situation, just, getting used to not being, really in the racetrack. And then once you get in that late model, it's a whole different feeling of how hard you can get in the corner and even arrows, a big thing, entering behind somebody in a late model is very tough to do when they take the air off your nose. And, it's just, it's definitely been new for me.
The smaller tire on the modified, that makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, you just got a lot less to lean on. The kind of the way I describe it would be like from a winged sprint car to a non-winged sprint car. You just don't have near the side grip in a modified as you would a late model, and them tires are much softer than what we run in a mod, and it's just it's all different. But we're slowly catching on there to it, and we'd like to race it a lot more, but the modified is our main focus, and I don't want to get off track with what we're trying to do, and got to be able to help our customers, and that's my main focus.
Yeah, tell us about your business there.
My dad used to build cars when I was growing up, and had some health problems and kind of quit doing that. And probably like 2018-ish, I started building cars. And, I think the first year I sold 2 cars, and that was just kind of to get me by till summertime rolled around and we could start racing again. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And, now we do 8 to 10 and a year, and that's about all we really want or can do. It's just 3 of us here at the shop, and we've slowly been building it, though. I think we're on our 70th car, and we have a lot of good customers that they make us look good and win races for us, and we really enjoy it. Just look forward to kind of growing it a little bit when we can. I just don't want to slow down racing yet, so we're just doing about 8 to 10 a year, and just kind of staying steady at that.
You're currently 3rd in points. Do you think you got a chance to catch Rodney Sanders?
Oh, I think so. It's just, you got to have good finishes really all the time, and we had a couple DNFs there, and I know Rodney hasn't had any. So it'll be tough. Rodney's good. He's won a lot of national championships, and he knows how to get it done and what it takes. So I do think we have a shot, but it's not going to be easy by any means.
How cool was that to drive into Victory Circle and see that old 75 car down there, kind of nosed in the Larry Phillips Memorial? This has got to rank amongst your most special wins, does it not?
Oh, it does for sure. It was pretty special. I've seen a lot of pictures of them cars, and like back when my dad raced, he had some similar looking cars, but Larry Phillips he's a legend. I watch, and I don't know why he is not in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. I feel like he's got every right to be in there, and he's won probably the most races out of anybody that is in it. But yeah, to be able to win that and just to pull in there and get that cool trophy, I met Terry probably 4 years ago-ish, and we became really close, and I really wanted to win that race, and to be able to get it done was very special. And I don't know, I just it's really cool. Still can't believe it.
Terry Phillips wanted to win that too. Did pretty bad, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. He came over, and he said if he couldn't win, he's sure glad that I did. So that was cool to hear that, and he was, even though he didn't win, he was pretty happy for us, and that's just a pretty special feeling for me.
Kirk and I, we watched Larry Phillips race a lot on pavement back here at Lakeside Speedway and I-70 Speedway.
Yeah, he was good on both pavement and dirt. 1 year he was undefeated 1 year at Lakeside Speedway. Can you believe that, Tanner? A guy goes undefeated at a weekly racing program. Larry Phillips did that. So he was good on both dirt and pavement.
Yeah, from what I've heard and read, and he was very diverse, and he was good at both. I don't think there wasn't a track that he couldn't go win at. I know he's, just from what Terry had said, been out to California and Florida, and I think he won everywhere. And to go a full year and be undefeated, that's something else for sure. It's tough to do, and to have your stuff that good and be. I mean, he's just a good driver. I think he could probably take a car that was 75% good and still win in it. So that's, I think, what set him apart from the rest of the field.
The other thing I liked about Terry Phillips, he helped everybody else in the pits. He'd go work on other people's race cars while he was there too. So that was a pretty cool thing about him.
Yeah, that's for sure. I didn't know him well. Actually, I didn't know him at all. I knew of him, and I've got to know of him more just from sitting and talking to Terry. But I sure would have liked to have met him at one point. That would have been really cool for me to get to do that.
I hear you're heading back to Lucas Oil Speedway this weekend. You ran there earlier this year with the had the King of America there for the first time this year. What are your thoughts about Lucas Oil Speedway?
It's a beautiful facility. It's taken me a long time to kind of get used to the dirt there. It's a little bit different, and their track prep's really good. It just we led the King of America there for a while, but I killed my right rear tire there, and I don't know. I suppose I don't have enough experience or wasn't smart enough to kind of stay out of where it was abrasive, and it hurt us. But I really like going over there. It's a beautiful place, and the pits are immaculate, and it's definitely one of the nicest places you can go.
You're not really sure where you're going to run this weekend after Lucas Oil Speedway. Thoughts about going to Central Missouri Speedway with the Heartland Modified Tour? What are your plans this weekend?
We'll definitely be at Lucas on Thursday, and then we're just kind of going to be a game time decision, I guess, and we'll either go to Central Missouri and run Friday and Saturday, or we're talking about coming home and racing our late model at Enid, Oklahoma, Friday and Saturday. They're having a 10,000 to win down there, so we got a lot of work here in the shop that we're trying to get done and get our customers taken care of. So that'll play a little bit of part in our decision as to if we get to work on a late model much. But we're just kind of trucking away, trying to get all the work done and see what plays out for us.
Talk about the difference between driving a modified and a late model.
It's a big difference for me. Just it's definitely a learning experience, and I don't have much experience in a late model at all. Up until this year, we got that late model, and we won a few races with it, but definitely learning every time we go to the track and just learn how to drive it, work on it, set it up, and thankfully I got a lot of good help that can kind of guide me in the right directions and keep me on track when I don't really know what I need or what I need to do. So it's been a big help just with Terry and then the guys at Rocket and Turbo, and just a lot of people that feed in and help me and make sure I kind of stay on the right track.
Tanner Mullins would like to probably forget his visit to Lucas Oil Speedway. I see a last place finish here at Lucas Oil Speedway. It's got a big DQ right beside it.
That's not good. That's not good.
Mullins, who had already won 8 Heartland Modified Tours this season, had a 3-second lead down at Lucas Oil Speedway with just a handful of laps remaining. Now, Tyler Wolf was able to win the race. Mullins, he started from the pole in that race, had a 2.4-second lead after just 5 laps, but then Wolf was able to get around him. But then at the end of the night, he got DQ'd. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but I'm sure that his visit to Lucas Oil Speedway, he just soon forget about that. He's going to be in his late model tonight down at Enid Speedway tonight.
That was episode 366 if you need to go back there and listen to that. We got both those, Tanner Thorson and Tanner Mullins, on that episode. And Kirk had some audio from Lucas Oil Speedway as well. You had
Kirk, you want to
play some of that?
Might as well.
Tanner, Tyler Courtney is the winner from last Saturday night down at Lucas Oil Speedway. And before I play this, I just need to correct one thing. I asked him a question. Actually, he'd won one other race prior to the win on Saturday night. He won a race where he won in a photo finish at Knoxville a couple of weeks. I said he'd won a World of Outlaw race. Not this year. He just won that one race at Knoxville before he won Saturday night at Lucas Oil Speedway. Here is Tyler Courtney following his win last Saturday night. What was the big difference between the dash and the A main?
We changed a few things, but honestly, the dash, you just got to racing, and I got put in a couple bad spots, and that in a short race like that with as many good guys you got in the dash, you kind of just get shuffled back and hang on for what you got. But honestly, running fourth there in the dash was probably the best thing that happened to us, because let them guys get out, and they were kind of racing all over the place, and let me move around and find a couple different lines, because I saw them start struggling with lap cars, and it just it worked out.
What were you thinking when Tanner spun around?
I thought I was going to hit him. Yeah, I just closed my shoulders up and puckered up a little bit, and hopefully I got through there, and luckily we did. And yeah, I mean that was a race winning move, so stayed pretty clean after that.
Once you got out in front, did you have to search to try to get around the lap traffic?
Yeah, a little bit. Some of them guys, they were tough to get around. They just, like, some laps they'd run the bottom, then okay, they're gonna go to the bottom, I'll go do something else, and as soon as you get to them, they change lanes and really just kind of surprise you. But that's part of racing, and that's what really the crucial part about winning these races this year, it seems like, is lap traffic. Make sure you get through it better than the guy behind you, and try and put some cars between you.
Reitzel was so good in the early laps there. What were you thinking about him and Rico back behind?
I mean, yeah, those guys are some of the best cars in the country right now. They've won a lot of their fair share of races this year, and yeah, you never really know. I mean, I felt really good, but they could figure something else out at the end of the race there and feel really good themselves. So I just stuck to where my car felt the best, and yeah, it worked out.
I know you won a World of Outlaw race. You won at Knoxville, an exciting finish up there. Just now you got the high limit win now. Just how do you see your program now heading into July?
Man, I hope we get that's the monkey off our back now that with the high limit series, and really for the rest of the year, hopefully. But yeah, we got a big 2 months coming up in July and August. It's got Kings Royal here in a couple weeks, and then before we know it, Knoxville Nationals will be here. So get going in the right direction this time of year is always a good thing, and see what we can do.
And Sunshine is a former Kings Royal champion. Remember, he won the Kings Royal when they had 2 Kings Royals in one season after COVID. Kyle Larson won the other race that year. And also, he is the defending winner at the 360 Nationals at Knoxville from last year. So, but now he's got 2 wins, a regular Saturday night show at Knoxville, and now a high limit race for Tyler Courtney. Aaron Reitzel, now the point leader in the high limit racing, was about as happy as you'd ever see him after a loss on Saturday night. He was still pretty pleased about a second place finish. You don't normally see Reitzel happy unless he wins.
He's normally a sore loser.
Yeah, well, he walked out of there with a smile on his face on Saturday night. Here's Aaron Reitzel following his second place finish. You got off such a fast start there, just kind of through the first early laps. What were you seeing?
Yeah, just the top was good, and I was getting around there good, and I never would have thought the pace that we were carrying around the top to move to the bottom and kind of stop down there. And I haven't seen anything like that in a while, where you benefited from rolling the bottom slow. And like Sunshine said, I think he was like in 4th or 5th, and he had nothing to lose, and he said he was surprised he found it. So I think that was one of those deals. Just it was better off not leading at that time, but I don't even think if I went to the bottom in lap traffic I would have slowed down that much. So it was one of those deals, but it was still all in all a great race.
And he is the points leader by 9 points over Brad Sweet as they head into Florence Speedway next weekend. Rico Abreu, after winning the Friday night preliminary, comes back with a 3rd place finish on Saturday night.
Tried to run the bottom when we caught traffic, I think, and it would have really saved my tires, and just got to think through that stuff when I'm racing. But this is really cool just to put together 2 good nights for my team and build some confidence back up going into some big money races.
You really ran well on Friday night. How different was it tonight, the track conditions?
Track was definitely a lot dry, slicker, and you can move around a whole lot more, and both lanes were raceable, I felt. Chop traffic kind of slowed the pace down for us leaders, and we were allow guys that were behind me to pick and choose what lanes to run in.
It was a successful weekend at Lucas Oil Speedway. Danny Lorton and Casey Schumann and the track crew, everybody's got to be very happy the way things went at Lucas Oil Speedway last weekend. It was a great show, all 3 nights. And next weekend, we'll see the late models in action down there. The CMH Diamond Nationals. 2-night show this year, Friday and Saturday night. So we'll be back down there to check on that as well. Hey, I wanted to mention that we talked about it earlier in the show. Tuesday night, the USAC Sprint Cars will be at Sweet Springs Motorsports Complex. That's about an hour east of Kansas City. We'll be over there checking that out. And this is in the aftermath of that thrilling BC 39 on Wednesday night, where Cannon McIntosh was able to repeat, coming from the 19th starting spot to win that race. But I don't know if you agree with me or not, but that was Justin Grant's race to lose. He run the Friday night preliminary. Looked like he was well on his way to victory, but here comes Jacob Denny, and the two made contact, and it didn't end up well for Justin Grant. He had tire go down, did some damage on the race car. He was able to restart. This only happened with 2 laps to go. He was able to restart the race. He ends up in 12th place, but this was Justin Grant's BC 39, don't you think? And that contact he made there with Jacob Denny didn't work out for the Chad Boat, the CB Enterprises number 87. Hey, the other big thing that happened is Dazen Persley was going to be a factor in the BC 39, but he wasn't there on Wednesday night. Persley, who almost won the Chili Bowl in the CB Industries car, was not available to race on Wednesday night. Here's the post he put up.
Why is that?
I'm going to read the post he puts up on Twitter and Facebook. Unfortunately, due to a minor medical emergency, I won't be able to compete tonight in the BC 39 at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I'm disappointed to miss it and hate it for my team and sponsors. Wishing the best of luck to everyone at CB Industries. We'll be back at the track soon. Well, he was at the track last night at Putnamville. He was racing the non-wing sprint car to a 10th place finish for Chad Boat at Putnamville last night. So whatever that was a big deal, Scott, because Dazen Persley had a chance to contend for that BC 39. He had a fast enough race car to do it. Don't you agree?
Right.
And he wasn't there on Wednesday night. So tough go. Good for Keith Kunz Motorsports because they swept the top 3 positions at the BC 39. And what a drive for Cannon McIntosh to come from 19th starting spot. He had to come out of the B, 19th, to win his second straight, becoming the first repeat winner of the BC 39.
All right. Thanks for everybody for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports RBN, the Race of Boys Broadcasting Network. We want to thank our guests Tanner Thorson and Tanner Mullins as well.
We're going to see you out at Lakeside Speedway next Friday night, the ASCS National Tour. Going to be out there. You'll be out there for that.
I'll be out there for that.
And we're going to maybe we ought to try to get Sam Haferteep on the air. Talk about that. We're going to try to reach out to him for Monday.
That'd be good stuff.
And who else? We don't know yet. We're going to find out what happens tonight.
Find out
who we normally do.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints.
Thank you, Todd Surprise.
Thank you, guys.
Another great
Appreciate
job.
it. Have a good weekend.
Appreciate it, Todd. Everything that you do for us.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for saying that.
And again, we do not stream live the Mostly Motorsports show any longer, but we do post the podcast on Monday.
Yep, it'll be
so
up
watch
Monday
for that.
Monday afternoon. I get it right up, and then we also have a little teaser on YouTube of our beginning. We do a little weekend wrap up. Let everybody kind of know who won on Saturday and Sunday night of racing. So you can check that out exclusively on YouTube. So
and we got all the news up on racingboys.com.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, or RBN, the Race of Boys Broadcasting Network. For Todd Surprise, for Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on Track Talk.
faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.